Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Lily and I'm a Chinese transracial adoptee. Every week I post episodes about my experiences as an adoptee and just how I process different things that happen in my life as an adopted person. And I've started also weekly vlogging to show you a little bit more of my life. I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a PhD candidate and I don't know, I'm just doing it to document what's happening during this pandemic. But before I get into today's topic, which is my thoughts when Mother's Day is coming around, when there's a big emphasis on family, I just want to do some housekeeping. Yeah, I'm in my new space. I think I talked about this in one of the vlogs, but I'm actually only like 3 feet from where I was filming before. I do film and schedule my episodes weeks in advance, so unfortunately, you have 2 more episodes after this where I'll be back at my desk. But for now, you get this and then know what's coming in the future. But let's move on to the topic. So, Mother's Day. It's going to be Mother's Day here in the US on Sunday, and I know that day can be very hard for many. I'm not a mother, and I don't have experience really with the death of a mother, so I can't speak to that. I also am unable to speak on thoughts about Mother's Day when your relationship with your mother is not healthy. So I'm really just going to talk about, my feelings on Mother's Day, because I did come from a wonderful, loving, supportive, adoptive family, but there's still grief involved. And so I just want to share that. And for the adoptees who are in similar situations as me, I want you to remember that it's okay for you to suddenly feel sadness or melancholy or grief on days like this, because it really is bringing awareness to the mother-child relationship, and that's something that was taken from us early on. So with Mother's Day, I guess my feelings are similar to like my birthday and my adoption day and Father's Day and sometimes Christmas and Thanksgiving, and just these times when families come together. It's challenging for me because I really love my adoptive family, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, there's a whole day being devoted to thinking about mothers, to thinking about what they've done for us, to thinking about how they brought us into the world, but I don't actually know the person who brought me into this world. And so, I spend the day thanking my mom for raising me, for being supportive, for still listening to everything I have to say on these videos and constantly wanting to learn. But I'm also like, there's another woman in China who I don't know, who I will possibly, very likely, never know. And it can be hard to reconcile that in my mind, and it can be hard to celebrate and to focus on being positive and focus on being happy and focus on celebrating one mother when I don't know the other mother. Luckily for me, my parents have always been very understanding of that, and so when it comes to birthdays, adoption days, and family days, they recognize that I'm going to have these complex feelings. And it was actually funny, when I was younger, they would check in more. I think now they trust me to speak up when I need to speak up and say, I'm not really comfortable with this or whatever. But I can remember when I was younger, they would check in a lot, like, is this something you want to do? Like, what do you want to do? You tell us, are you sure this is okay? And I'm the type of person who really doesn't like being asked many questions, and especially the same question over and over and over again. So I get really frustrated, and I was like, no, it's fine. Of course, at that time, even if it wasn't fine, I would say it was fine just because I hadn't really processed more and I didn't want to disappoint anybody. And that fear of disappointing people and that guilt is still there today. Like, of course, there's going to be part of me that when I am not my happiest on Mother's Day, I'm feeling really guilty because it feels like I'm doing a disservice to my adoptive mom. I know she doesn't take it that way, and I know I don't mean it that way, but that's just something that happens to me as an adoptee. It's like this constant, it's not even like a battle, but it's like there are times when one mom becomes more important, or like is in the front of my mind more than the other. And then I think about the other and I'm like, oh no, I can't forget about them. Like, they're just as important. I love them just as much. And so it can be challenging to navigate on days like this, and it can be very challenging to navigate it if you are not with supportive people. So I'm extremely lucky and extremely grateful that I actually have that support in my life. If you don't have that, I hope this video at least sort of helps you. Again, I do have a good adoptive family, so I really can't speak to the secondary trauma and toxic relationships and sometimes abuse that other adoptees face. So for those of you going through that, I'm supporting you and I'm standing by you, and I'm truly, truly sorry. And I hope that you can find your support system, and maybe this video will be a start. Another thing about Mother's Day is, and especially now, like during COVID-19 and the pandemic, I see so many Facebook challenges, and one of them in particular is like the share a picture of yourself and then share a picture of your child, and we'll see how much, like, let your Facebook friends or whatever see how much you look alike. And those kinds of things also pop up around Mother's Day, like, look, these are pictures of us at the same age and we look so much alike. Like, obviously this is my daughter, this is my son. And like, I think that's really cool to see, because I love seeing how DNA and genetics really are important. Like, I really believe biology is important. I'm a molecular biologist. Of course I think it's important, but every time I see that, I'm also, it kind of like stabs me in the heart, because I'm like, what about all the people who don't have this? And it's not just adoptees. It's just like, what about all the people who didn't have good relationships with their mothers? What about all the people who lost a child and didn't become a mother after that? It's like, I understand we need to focus on celebrating mothers, but I think it's just like this, now that we're in this age of social media, it's this constant like showing off of mother-child relationships, and especially now during this pandemic when we have nothing else to do, so many challenges of like, look at how similar we are. And I think the coolest thing that counteracts that is when an adoptee can post a picture of them and their biological family, and you can see the genetic relationships and biology through that. And again, this isn't saying that adoptive families aren't important and stuff. It's just like, every time I see a photo and know that I can't have that, it's almost like I get a little jealous. And I'm like, man, like they didn't have to go through this family separation. They didn't have to go through this trauma, and maybe they have other trauma and other issues that they're working through, but that core connection that we all have, mine was taken away from me when I was very young, and I may never find it again. It's tough. Mother's Day and like springtime in general are always kind of meh for me. I know most people feel lowest in the winter because you're stuck inside and it's cold and, you know, you don't want to go do anything. But for me, it's usually in the springtime, because there's just a lot to process. And like, I've always equated spring with my grandma, and she's no longer with us, which is hard. And so yeah, it's like my adoption day, also the day another family member passed away, my grandma's birthday, the day she passed away, Easter, which is something I equate with her. It's like this time when I'm trying to be happy and I'm trying to be outside, because in Texas, springtime is actually a nice temperature, even though my allergies are going haywire right now. But then there's always like, especially in April, these moments where I'm like, man, this kind of sucks. And I kind of wish I knew my biological family too. And I kind of wish that I had higher chances of finding them, because I think that would help a lot. But the fact that I wasn't found with any birth certificate or any note telling me who I am or where I came from or anything is hard. And especially on Mother's Day, adult children are on social media posting like, I'm so thankful that you gave me life, and on whatever day at whatever time, like I was born and you've been my mother ever since, blah, blah, blah. It's just hard, like, seeing all those things and knowing that I don't have that. Like, yes, I have a mother, and yes, I have a great adoptive mother, but, like, I don't have that same amount of information and that same connection that's still in my life. So, just a lot of mixed feelings. A lot of happy and sad at the same time. And also, I mean, I am grateful to the mothers in my life for making me who I am today. I know that I also played a big part in where I am today. Like, I'm going to give myself the credit for doing a lot of hard work, but it's definitely not just a day where I'm super, super happy and super, super thankful, because it's way more complicated than that. And especially for Mother's Day, more than other family days, I know that I feel a stronger connection to my biological mother than any other biological family member. I think, that's probably biology speaking, and also just the narrative over and over again that society likes to tell us, that our mothers were so loving, they gave us up for a better life and all this stuff. My life kind of paved the way for me feeling more connected to my biological mother, and so it makes sense to me that on Mother's Day here in the US, I would think about her more. And then all of these other life experiences that all happen to be around this springtime, it would make sense that I'm thinking about her and thinking about my biological family even more, and then dealing with all of those things during this time. So yeah, I guess that's it. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about. I just have my notes to make sure that I'm staying on track and not repeating myself too much, although I know that I do that a lot, so I'm very sorry. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this little bonus episode. While I'm working from home, I am posting episodes on Tuesdays, and then every Friday, every other Friday maybe, I'll be posting a weekly vlog of just what I've done that week, and updates on my work from home situation and updates on just my life in general. When I was explaining to people how I'm transitioning my channel, it was that I'm showing my life as a transracial adoptee in hopes that other adoptees may relate to that. And part of that is I don't want to be going so in depth on certain topics that I had before. And so to balance that, I'm letting you into a bit more of my life, but not showing you as much deep stuff. Like, I don't want to be that vulnerable here. So yeah, that's what's happening. So the next episode's going to be in a few days. It's going to be on Tuesday. I think it is going to be either my feelings of being uprooted and moving as an adoptee, or it might be how to talk about hard topics with your parents and family when it comes to adoption and race. Those two are definitely next. I don't know what order they're in. And then in 3 weeks is going to be the mommy blogger episode. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Mother's Day to the adoptees. I'm with you, and I'm there having these complex mixed feelings. So hang in there. We'll get through it together, but you're not alone. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on Tuesday.